Okay, once you have your plan of your balanced argument, then you should be able to write it out with a set format. So we're thinking about having an introduction, an argument for, an argument against, perhaps another argument for, another argument against, and a conclusion. So here what I've done is remind us of some of the adverbials, some of the language we used the last time we did it. So on the for side, it's things like it could be argued, many people believe, you could say many people argue, some people argue, though that's not as strong. If you want to then carry on your argument, many others agree, in addition, furthermore. When you're moving to against, you might have on the other hand or although. It's just keeping in your mind that idea of cohesion, even in non-fiction writing. So I might begin. I need an introduction. So little reminders, things like rhetorical questions are very useful in introductions. You're basically setting the scene for what your argument is. So I could go back and think, okay, I'm going to start with when the schools were shut. So I might say something like when was it? It was in March. In March 2020, as an adverbial of time, so I have a comma, for the first time in history, comma, UK schools were closed down. We should explain why, shouldn't we? A virus named COVID-19 had swept across the world, we could say. Actually, I might change that to globe, because I'm going to think about my vocab. Had swept across the globe. Children were sent home to be educated remotely. Remember that word means far away. I could end with a rhetorical question for my introduction. Would the education system survive the virus? There you go. So I have an introduction. It's not giving any arguments for and against. Then I'm going to start. My next argument is going to be an argument for UK schools remaining open. So I might start with one of my adverbials. Many people believe. I could change it, make it even more powerful. Many people strongly believe that despite the pandemic, schools should stay open. And I'm going to look at my plan, think about my first for argument. Apologies, look, I'm not going to do another take. And put it in there. So many people strongly believe that despite the pandemic, schools should stay open. One argument, that's another good starter, is that children will lose out on their education at home. And then I have to give my reasons and evidence. So I might put things like, most parents are not able to teach their children at home because they need to work, and teachers cannot help them in the same way. So you have an argument. Right after your for paragraph, you're going to do an against. You're going to go back and you're going to think about your argument that goes against this. So again, I might start with an adverbial. On the other hand, comma, many people agree that children can learn at home and it is more important to protect health at this time. And again, then you can go forward and give a little bit more information about that. So you have start with your introduction, you think about the adverbials, kind of adverbials you can use, you have an argument for and against. If you're feeling really confident, then you would have then go back to another argument for, another argument against. So you're building up the amount of paragraphs you have. The minimum really we'd want is an introduction, an argument for, an argument against, and a conclusion. I'm going to add a little shorter video for the conclusion after this. You might also have an introduction and then an argument for, an argument against, and then another argument for, another argument against, and a conclusion. Thinking all the time about your vocabulary and how your arguments work. So these kind of sentence starters, how things flow. We'll be back with just a very brief one about how you conclude.